And yeah, cancer is just one of those things that's it's kind of easy to lie about because you can just tell someone like, yeah, I have cancer, but it's in remission, or yeah, I have a tumor, but it's benign, or yeah, I have. If you even mention the word cancer, it's going to dramatically change how a person perceives you. Even if you use a whole bunch of other medical terms that basically says you're gonna live, the second you say cancer, people are already looking at you differently and already feeling bad for you, already giving you pity and empathy and shit like that. So let's see how she goes about lying about it.
She was diagnosed with cancer, raised 37,000, but was given a heavy sentence as the cancer never existed. Born March.
Then where did the diagnosis come from? There's a doctor that needs to be going to jail, unless she faked it all herself.
2003, her name is Madison Russo, and she was a University of Iowa student when she began feeling, quote, just a little bit off. She experienced sporadic fevers, some bloody stools and random nosebleeds, leading to a checkup with her university doctor. On the 10th of February 2000.
Hold on. I experienced that when I was about her age. Really. All the drinking and shit I was doing. All the irresponsible shit I was doing, I guess. Really. I mean, the bloody stools. Girl, you probably just took a fat shit, really. Random nosebleeds. Maybe you just have nosebleeds. Sporadic fevers. It's called flu season. A little bit off. I think the whole world feels a little bit off sometimes. Maddie?
Bleeds, leading to a checkup with her university doctor. On the 10th of February 2022, at the age of only 19, Maddie was given a diagnosis she never could have predicted.
I got the call from my oncologist and they found a mass on my pancreas and I had stage 2 pancreatic cancer at just 19 years old.
Out of 25 different cancers, pancreatic has the lowest chance of survival.
The 5-year outlook of survival is a slim 11%.
However, this initial announcement video was already somewhat suspicious. She kept on looking to the left like she was reading off a script, which would be a pretty strange approach to talking about a life experience. It's her looking at her script for me. Perhaps she wrote it out to keep her words concise, but also how she was diagnosed didn't sound right.
You don't just have an oncologist. It takes weeks, months. You have to find one that specializes in the kind of cancer you have.
These red flags were clearly overlooked as Maddie was featured by her local news, in which she'd stand by her original story.
And you know what's funny too? A lot of people that fake cancer, and I wonder if this girl's gonna do it. Probably not. We'll see. A lot of people that fake cancer, they don't go all out with it when they try to fake it, bro. Like if you're gonna try to fake cancer, don't be that one jackass that's trying to fake it, but you still leave a full head of hair on your head, bro. That's not how that works. And y'all be out here hair longer than mine talking about I got cancer. No, you don't. Or I'm going through chemo, and bro, I've seen what people look like when they go through chemo. They look like a completely different person. They look frail. They look sickly, look small. They have no hair. Their skin looks just because of the radiation, man. So like, but none of them ever do that. You never shave your head. You never do all this stuff. You're just lazy about it, really. And I think that's just putting salt on the wound. The fact that you're so lazy, not just brazen, but just so lazy about it, really.
My phone rang and it said Iowa City Oncology. I stepped out of the classroom and took the call. They told me they had found a mass on my pancreas and that I had stage 2 pancreatic cancer. I was terrified and I definitely still am. I was in shock. I didn't think it could be true. I'm so young and I wondered how this could happen. I went through all the emotions and I was pretty numb. I remember hanging up the phone and I was a mess. I was literally bawling, but somehow I ended up getting the courage to wipe away my tears and went back into class years, which now when I think about it was pretty crazy. You never want to get cancer, and if you do get diagnosed, you can't choose where you get it. Of all the ones, why does it have to be this one? Again implying to everyone that she'd been given the worst cancer possible. To make matters worse, surgery was not an option as my tumor is on the tail of my pancreas, and it's very deep rooted. Doctors said that if they went in, the surgery would do more harm. There was more risk than reward, and as a result she'd instead be doing 15 rounds of oral chemotherapy along with 90 rounds of radiation. She'd document the journey as a way to help her cope, trying to act as an example that she could maintain looks and lifestyle. She'd write, round 14 of chemo ended last Friday, and by Sunday night, I decided to throw on my running shoes and see where they took me. Well, they took me 6 miles.
You do not do chemotherapy. Girl, you don't do chemotherapy and then run 6 miles. I think the most exhausted I've been because of a medical chemical substance has been the gas chamber. I went to the gas chamber when I was younger in life. And when I left that gas chamber, like about 2 to 3 hours after leaving the gas chamber, bro, I was so exhausted physically, like simply just lifting my arms. I was just like, I don't know how to explain it. It's the most tired I had ever been in my entire life, just like physically. I couldn't go to sleep, but just like my body was, I just felt like a slug, man. And that was just from, I don't know, 45 seconds in a gas chamber. And you're doing chemo, radiation, orally, and the actual chemo, and you're going for a 6 mile run. I don't know if I believe you.
I'm thinking the bags of blood I received earlier in the week fueled this one and made me speedy.
No, we haven't watched this ticking because this came out 2 days ago.
Although to a person with leukemia named Anna Tower, this was again very strange. She wrote, when I saw Maddie's post about her going for a run, she looked pretty. She had all her hair and was strong enough to go running, a run I was missing since my diagnosis. So there I was sitting on the couch, looking at that post and asking myself, what was I doing wrong? Why was I bald, weak, and couldn't even think about walking, let alone running? Walking to the car to get to the hospital was a challenge. I was thinking I did something wrong, or maybe that I was not strong enough, passively implying Maddie's appearance was also highly suspicious. People began to ask, how do you have chemo and keep all that beautiful hair? To which she'd post the following.
And your perfect skin, man. You know that someone going through chemo, even if they decide to put makeup on, you're still going to notice that they're going through chemotherapy. I've had someone in my family go through this. They had cancer, and they went through chemo, a lot of it. And they beat cancer. Great. My aunt. My aunt's not a makeup person, you know, my family anyway. The Hispanic ladies, they kind of give up that makeup shit once they become moms. So she never wore makeup, but bro, I could just tell by looking at her, even if she were to put makeup on, even I would still notice what she was going through, right? I would still know. Any person would know. Cancer doesn't look like this, man. So, like, I don't. Should have just ditched the makeup, stop going to the fucking tanning bed, stop working out, shave your head, and look as sickly as you possibly can, man.
Following video.
How I am keeping my hair during treatment with chemo and radiation. My mom found this. It's biotin with collagen and keratin.
Maddie claimed that she'd kept her hair by using vitamin supplements, but with comments like, I guess the biotin is stronger than the chemo, she'd adjust, stating it did fall out sometimes.
I was like brushing my hair and a few like pieces were like coming out as I was brushing my hair.
Yeah, when people go through chemo, bro, and that's a lot.
Post this photo to
No, actually, that's all cuts. I can tell where you cut it. Hey, at least you cut it, right? You followed through. But when people have cancer and they start losing their hair, they don't lose it a couple strands at a time, like you said. They lose it in clumps. And that does not look like clumps, man. The hair is so brittle at that point that they could probably pull it out with their hands. Or just like running their hands through their hair, it'll just naturally start coming out, right? So this just looks like a pile of my hair whenever I get a haircut. This is what it looks like.
Show she wasn't lying, but it was pretty damn obvious these were simply from a haircut. Additionally, Maddie was super tanned in every single photo, which again was weird.
Wouldn't the on just like an insane stroke of irony, wouldn't it be so ironic and so hilarious if she actually did get cancer and she got cancer from her habitual fucking tanning? Right? Because those tanning beds are not good for you ladies. And then she's gonna say, guys, I actually have cancer, and then no one's gonna believe you. And then you'll die and no one will know. That wouldn't that be funny?
They don't let you tan or use self-tanners during chemo. Her response, get this, was that the radiation treatment was keeping her golden brown. Maybe this radiation was also recharging her energy, as Maddie gave talks at St. Ambrose University, the SAU Generosity Night, and for the National Pancreas Foundation.
What's the vetting process for this type of shit? What's the vetting process? You just let anybody get up there and well, let me guess. You just said, hey, I have cancer, showed you a couple of fucking TikTok videos, gave you some wonky ass paperwork, and you're like, oh, all right. That's crazy.
In the process, she'd appear on podcasts.
How would you define the term pancreatic cancer?
The first word that comes to mind is just ugly.
Before announcing she'd gotten a second type of cancer. It is with heartbreak and shock that I share the news.
Pancreatic cancer.
The first word that comes to mind is just...
No one who has cancer smiles about it when they're talking about it. I don't know, maybe there's just that one old guy that's just a savage, and he don't really give a shit. He's like, God gave me 50 years. I'm good. Fuck this cancer. Whatever. Right? You might, those are like outliers. But for the most part, man, cancer patients, they don't smile like this. They don't smile when they're talking about their condition.
Heartbreak and shock that I share the news that my cancer has spread to my blood and is acute lymphoblastic leukemia on top of my original diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. Should therefore update her go.
But I'm gonna keep looking like a fucking runway model for the next 8 years with all these problems while you other fucking peasants look awful and bald and all that. Have fun with that. I'm a goddess. All right.
Fund me, writing Maddie's cancer has been progressively getting worse and has spread all over her body, including throughout her blood and also on her spine. She's tried everything and given it her all. Chemo, radiation, and other methods have no longer helped. As a result,
man, doesn't that seem like such a fantastical diagnosis that more than one doctor would want to have a look at you? Right? I mean, I've never had cancer. I had a family member that had cancer, and I don't know a lot about cancer. I can tell you about epilepsy, but I can't tell you anything about cancer. But what she just said, that seems like something so over the top medically that more than one doctor would actually probably want to have a look at this girl. Really. Like another doctor in another state, another cancer doctor in another country, he'll see this and be like, wow, holy, that's all over her body, including throughout her blood, also on her spine. Let me get a look at this just for, continuity later. She might die, but I want to look at this. Maybe another set of eyeballs, maybe I can fix it. Maybe I can be the one. Maybe I can study it. Maybe I can do this. Nothing. No, not at all.
Chemo, radiation, and other methods have no longer helped. As a result, donations flooded in, totaling $37,800. Maddie's close family friend Peggy Ohl, whose husband died of pancreatic cancer, also sent Maddie a whole package of support materials, including $500 in gift cards. To keep the money rolling in, Maddie befriended a fellow cancer patient named Charlie, who passed away in October 22, leading Maddie to make the following following post. This just absolutely breaks my heart. Charlie and I would text each other daily, talking about all the ups and downs of both our battles with cancer, and she was seriously just a sweet, genuine soul. We were the same age, lived within minutes of each other, and could relate to each other 100%. Sadly, it seemed Maddie's cancer was also getting worse, as she'd post a compilation showing everything she'd been through. Included were photos of her in hospital, although it would be through these that Maddie was finally exposed.
I can't tell you. Just going off of these pictures, I honestly can't tell you what's wrong. I don't know if my aunt went through this, man, because whenever she was battling it out with cancer, I was deployed, so I didn't get to see. Like, I came home on leave and saw her small and tiny and fragile and decrepit and, you know, all that stuff. But I never saw her bring home any of this shit. This looks like, you don't even look like you're in a hospital here. You got the TikTok leggings on, probably a North Face jacket, holding an IV thing, whatever. That seems like a very basic IV rig. What do you do that yourself? Do you put the IV in yourself? Do you have someone to put the IV in for you? Like, what's the thing here? And here, you're still not in a hospital. Every cancer patient I've seen multiple photos where they're in a hospital attached to multiple fucking wires, man. And like, it's a crazy setup that they have in these hospital rooms. And in both of these pictures, you're in a house. If your cancer was that bad, man, you wouldn't be walking around like this, but your spine, your blood, all that shit, from the worst possible cancer, which is pancreatic, to leukemia, and it's just like, wow. It just doesn't look. And on top of that, again, like, I'm no medical professional, but like, you're in a house, man. You're in a house. I've never, short of like assisted living and like an in-home caretaker, I've never seen IVs in a home for a cancer patient all by herself. It just doesn't seem real.
I am not a chemo nurse, but this doesn't look like a port to me. The dressing is really screwed up with her feeding tube that's not primed. Let's go closer to her nose. Is that the end of the feeding tube?
One comment clarified, chemo nurse here and that ain't a port, again confirmed by a medical doctor.
You can see that the actual positioning of the port per se is not accurate. Also, the way that it's secured, the type of tape that's used, is not the same clinical tape that we would use in the hospital.
Compare Maddie's port to that of Anna Tower, and the difference is almost comical.
And I don't know if you've ever seen a cancer port. They're not usually this sloppy.
But the equipment problems didn't end there.
There's nothing in that bag. This would be where the nutrition would be. And if she was actually being fed via feeding tube, this tube would be full of this white liquid. There's nothing in that, so she would just be pumping air into her stomach.
Other photos featured the same inaccuracies.
Here's another one. No substances in the tubing, and her port is still messy. Also, do you see that right there? That little purple spot? Yeah, that's supposed to be down in her stomach.
All of which were taken not inside a hospital, but instead her own apartment.
See?
Every other photo was simply found on Google.
This is a picture she posted. That is a European outlet. This picture is from Google.
Except for some other extremely shameful posts.
This picture alone should put her in jail. She took this picture, drained from chemo era. This was on her TikTok. Somebody reverse image searched it and found an actual person with cancer. She literally stole this photo.
Maddie took photos of actual cancer patients and posted them to her TikTok as if they were her own. Well, as a result, police received a report that Russo had
Wait, hold on. She started early in the video that surgery couldn't be done and that the doctors wouldn't recommend it. The risk did not outweigh the reward. But this looks like surgery. It looks like surgery to me.
Were her own. Well, as a result, police received a report that Russo had taken money and donations from more than 439 donors, leading to a warrant to search the Bettendorf apartment of Madison Marie Russo. There, police found a brown paper bag with medical supplies, an IV pole with a feeding pump filled with cotton balls, 2 boxes of transparent dressing and a wig, plus a brand new 2023 Kia Sportage purchased with her GoFundMe money. money. Police then searched Maddie's medical records, taken from Genesis Trinity, which showed that although Russo was a patient, she was never treated for any cancers or tumors. Police therefore froze her bank account, and Maddie was arrested. 6 months later, Maddie appeared in court, making the wild claim that she had a broken family, and faking cancer was her strategy to bring them back together.
I didn't do this for money or greed. I didn't
Oh my god. Oh my god.
do this for attention.
Where's Donut Operator when you need him? With his fucking enhanced software. Fine. I'll do it myself. Enhance. 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 I see no fucking tears, girl. Jesus Christ. If I was the director, I'd be like, cut, god damn it, can we get her some Visine? Jesus. We're trying to have an emotional scene here. Lies.
I did this in an attempt to try and get my family back together.
And in none of your posts, and in none of your TikToks, and in none of your GoFundMe shit did you once mention your family. You mentioned yourself, a dead friend, and yourself.
It didn't work, and it only got worse.
Maddie's lawyer then explained how being exposed ruined Maddie's life.
At the gym, she's had people approach her and verbally accost her.
Yeah.
She has been at the store where she's been flipped off and cursed.
So what do you, what is it? Attorney lady? What is it? What? Life's not fair? You do something terrible and people are mean to you because you did something terrible? What's the charge? Who are you trying to put this on? Oh my god. Jesus. Like, if this was a male attorney, I guarantee the male attorney here would be like, listen, girl, you're guilty as hell. You're gonna have to make a plea bargain of some kind, okay? The road ends here. You're gonna have to make a plea. You're gonna have to plead guilty to something, okay? Otherwise, I can't help you. That's it. Your Honor, she's ready. Leave it up to the female to be like, oh, people are mean to her. They're just awful. They're the worst. Like, I understand she faked cancer, but there's no reason to be vile. There's no reason to be upset. Like, oh my god. Leave it up to a woman to protect another woman when that woman makes terrible decisions. You never hold each other accountable. But then again, you're getting paid to do this, so like, I kind of understand, but fuck, dude.
At and yelled at.
Although those who were deceived still demanded extra punishment.
I hope Maddie Russo is held responsible. I hope Maddie Russo has to spend a great deal of time in jail. I hope Maddie Russo has to pay restitution. She preyed on my emotions and my giving nature.
The judge determined that Maddie had shown remorse.
I doubt that you will ever commit a crime like this again.
But still charged her with first-degree theft. As a result, Maddie was given a 10-year suspended prison sentence, 100 hours of community service, a $1,370 fine, and she was ordered to repay $39,000 to those who donated to her GoFundMe. However, her donors still weren't happy. As a pancreatic cancer patient who donated to her, GoFundMe refunded the money. This sentence is appalling. She lied to the court. This was for greed, not her family. To cause people—
And the judge is a moron too, because it was like, he's like, I believe that you'll never do this again. Oh my god. The slap on the wrist bullshit, dog. Here was your chance. Here was your chance to discourage anyone from doing this ever again. This was your chance, and you failed. Now everyone else is going to see this and be like, 100 days community service? That's it? And I gotta pay back what? This much money? I probably made more than that, so fuck it, I'm gonna try my hand. Maybe I can get away with it. Because the punishment's not that bad. You had an opportunity here to, I don't know, make an example. I couldn't be a judge. I couldn't be a judge, man. I'd be making examples out of everybody. And then I would probably get disbarred. I wouldn't be unfair. Like, I wouldn't give you 5 years for jaywalking, right? But like, I would make examples out of motherfuckers, bro, if I was a judge, and they'd probably get rid of me. Really. I saw one judge one time, he handed down a punishment to this man, and he said, I am giving you the absolute most that I am legally allowed to give you. I hope you know that. He's like, if I could triple this sentence, if I could quadruple it, I would. But I can't. And that right there, I feel like that's the kind of judge I would be if I was one, man. I'd be making examples out of motherfuckers.